Hey everyone, Gorzik here. Welcome to another episode of Let's Play Ys II Chronicles Plus for the PC. In the last episode, we found ourselves on a mysterious floating island, which, as it turns out, is actually the lost land of Ys, said to have just completely disappeared roughly 700 years ago. But it didn't really disappear, it's just been floating up in the sky this whole time, just obscured by the clouds. So, the power of the 6 books that we collected in Ys I has transported us here to Ys for some reason. When we first arrived here, we were found unconscious by a young girl, Lilia, who, along with her mother, Benoa, nursed us back to health. Benoa tells us that her daughter is actually very, very sick, and fears that she might die soon. So, she wants us to seek out the town doctor to see if he can maybe make a medicine to cure her. We did manage to find the doctor, who was trapped inside the Rasteenie Mine here, and he told us that in order to cure Lilia's illness, he needs 2 items, a rotafruit and a salsetta flower. We did find a rotafruit, but no luck locating a salsetta flower just yet. We were also told by the village elder that we should seek out the various priest statues scattered around the sanctuary of Toll, and that by returning the books of Ys to their respective priests, we might be able to figure out why the heck the books sent us here to Ys in the first place. So far, we have managed to locate 5 of the 6 priest statues, so we have 1 more yet to find. Just like in Asteria, though, the land of Ys has been plagued by demons for the past 6 months. So, is that just a coincidence, or is there something else going on? Anyways, let's continue exploring the mines. After you defeat the boss of the mines, Veligunder, you come into this big room here, which can be a little confusing to navigate. There are a number of dead ends here, and also it can be a bit dark in certain spots, so you want to be careful. And not only that, you have some new enemies to deal with, so I should probably switch to fire magic. Make things a little easier on myself. Directly below me, there is a secret passage, and while you can enter it right away if you know where it is, I am going to show off the proper way to find it. There is a way to locate them. It's not just a jerk move by the developer making you guess, so I'll show off the proper way to locate that in just a couple minutes. For now, though, at this fork here, you want to head up, and then up through the middle. Anywhere else is just going to lead you to dead ends. Here, we have another body of water with flowers growing next to it. Salsetta flowers. So, we now have both of the items we need to cure Lilia. In addition to that, salsetta flowers can be used to restore all of your HP and all of your MP. So, as you can imagine, they are a very handy tool to have on hand. Unfortunately, while there are 3 flowers growing here, the game only lets us carry 1 at a time. So, if you want one of these for your own personal use, then after curing Lilia, you'll have to come back here and pick another. Which I probably will not be doing since it is a bit of a detour, but if you want one for yourself, then by all means. Something else to mention is that the flowers, just like the herbs we found earlier in the mines, they have a 5-minute recharge time before they grow back. So, probably not a big deal in the case of the flowers, seeing as how there's 3 of them, and you can only carry 1 at a time, but still, something to keep in mind. Okay, let's head through this doorway now. There's 1 more enemy over here, he's kind of hiding at the moment. Come on out. Okay, so directly below me there is another secret passage, but like I said, I'll show off the proper way to locate those in just a minute. For now, we want to go where this headless armor enemy came from. As you can probably see here, this area is pretty dark, so you want to be on your guard. These enemies are pretty powerful, so I should honestly probably be avoiding them at this point. However, if you do have the longsword, then these enemies die a bit quicker. And not only that, I opted not to get a body armor, so you could easily have a full set of first level armor plus the longsword, but the longsword, at least, I don't particularly feel is worth it because it is quickly outclassed by the Talwar, the third level sword, which I'll be buying pretty shortly. Anyways, you want to make your way northwest as far as you can here. You need to be very careful though, because there are a few of these enemies roaming the halls here. And from there, make your way to the northeast corner, where there is a treasure chest containing our second magic, the light magic. So, as you can probably guess, the light magic makes it easier to see down here, but not only that, it shows you where secret passages are. So, pretty handy. I should mention that the light magic, while you don't really need to use it at this point, it's more of a convenience than anything else. The game does still want you to have it in your inventory, otherwise it won't let you proceed to the next area. So even if you don't use it at this point in the game, definitely pick it up. Okay, so down here and down here are dead ends, so we will head back the way we came. And to be perfectly honest, I should probably be avoiding these headless armor enemies given my equipment setup, but I do want a bit of extra gold. Something to note is that while we do have two magics now, the game only allows us to use one at a time, so if you need to switch back to fire magic to kill enemies, then you'll have to deactivate light magic. Anyways, if you look off to the sides of this passage here, you can see crystals or something by the door frames. With light magic equipped, you can see that they give off a sort of ripple effect. Where you can also see a ripple effect, though, is in this corner here. So what that indicates is a secret passage. So let's step inside. Head off to the right and down here. And open the chest. The Evil Bell. So, you remember how one of the villagers said that supposedly there was a bell that attracts demons rather than repels them, like the silver bells in Ys I? Well, that's what the Evil Bell does. It attracts demons. Why would you need something like this, though? Well, we will need it for a puzzle in just a few minutes. Okay, with that, that is all we really need down here. If you want to, you can head back to Lance Village at this point. However, there is still one more secret passage, and while it's not necessary, it does contain something very useful, so let's go see what that is. Back through here. And right here, you can see the ripple effect again. So right in here. And in this box here, you see that glint? Turns out it's iron ore. Remember how the weaponsmith was wanting us to find some of this? Yeah, so with this in hand, we can sell it to him for a pretty good chunk of change, actually. It is worth noting that there are, in fact, 2 iron ores in this box. However, you can only carry one at a time, so if you want the second one, then you'll have to make another trip down here. I probably won't be doing that in this playthrough, but still, something to mention. Anyways, with that is all we can really do down here. As for the 6th priest statue, it is not here. It's somewhere else. So if you have it, equip a wing and warp back to Lance Village. Otherwise, you'll have to manually backtrack here, which would be unfortunate. Anyways, the villagers do update their dialogue at this point. Some of them, at least. I don't need to do most of the stuff, but the billboard, it says that there is someone looking for a demon hunt. Sheila. So we will investigate that in just a couple minutes, but for now we have some other errands to do first. Let's see if the elder knows anything about where to find Priest Fact's tomb. This talking to him is unnecessary, but I'm just doing it for story reasons. It says it's probably located around here somewhere. But where? He mentions that Lance Village was actually once a part of Mundoria. So maybe Priest Fact's tomb is underneath the village. Okay. With that, I am going to go sell the iron ore now, upgrade my equipment. You don't need to do this if you don't want to, but I definitely recommend it. Yes, it is. Okay, so he offers you 3,000 gold for the iron ore. However, you can actually get him to offer you 6,000 gold for it. And the way you do that is you simply don't sell it to him until you enter the next area of the game, which is the Ice Ridge. Doing that will get you 6,000 gold, but only for the first piece of iron ore. As I said, there are 2 pieces down there, but he will only give you 6,000 gold for the first piece. Anything after that, you have to take 3,000 for. I will just stick with 3,000 gold. That's good enough for my purposes, but if you want to, then you can hold out for the 6,000 gold price and use it to get the second tier equipment, but 3,000 is good enough for me, because all I really want at this point is the tower. So we don't really need the tower at this point. The longsword would be suitable for this upcoming area. That said, you do need the tower eventually, so the sooner you can buy it, the better. 5,000 gold. Since we sold the iron ore to him, he will pretty shortly have some new armor in stock. Remember that as far as body armor goes, he is currently only offering the chainmail. Pretty soon, he will be offering the 2nd and 3rd level body armors. And you can get those right away after you sell the iron ore. And the way you do that is you enter and exit 3 houses inside Lance Village. with the exception of the armory here. And once you do that, then the second and third tiers of body armor will be available. Or alternatively, you can just continue the story for a bit and come back. So that is what I will be doing. Lilia here, we don't need to speak to her, but let's see what she has to say. Seems like she is getting tired more and more easily these days. So that's an indication that her illness is worsening. So we should see about curing her as soon as we can. So head to the clinic, and Dr. Flare will be here. So fortunately, even if you did not gift a wing to help Dr. Flare escape out of the mine, he does make his own way out, provided of course that you actually rescued him from the rubble. So that's convenient. Let's speak to them. And now that we have the salsetta flower and the rota fruit, they will make Lilia's medicine. Okay, with that in hand, let's go to Benoa. Something to point out is that while this medicine is intended for Lilia, remember that she supposedly doesn't even know she's sick in the first place, so you have to drop it off to Benoa. Yes, it is. Okay, let's leave. And seems like Lilia was eavesdropping on us. Yep, I sure did. And with that, Lilia is now cured. So, remember how worn out she was earlier? Not anymore. She is just brimming with energy. So, it would seem Lilia knew she was sick for quite some time now. But Benoa didn't realize she knew, and Lilia didn't realize her mom knew. They were just both trying to keep the other one happy. Because why obsess over something you can't control? Anyways, as a thank you, they will give us a new magic. The return magic. So, what the return magic is, it's basically a reusable wing at the cost of 20 MP each time. So, very, very handy. If you don't want to waste 20 MP though, then you can still buy wings, of course, but yeah, I don't really see the point of doing that. Okay, with that, let's go see about that demon hunt request. The person we want to see is Sheila. Speaking of Sheila, if you speak to this woman, she says she feels something evil down in his basement. Might be demons. That would be bad. Anyways, Sheila's house is this one here, directly above the Pickard's pen. So let's head inside and speak with him. Yep, that's me. So, if you remember, a few of the villagers have been having trouble getting to sleep at night because of weird noises. Sheila here is probably affected by those noises more than most, because they seem to be coming from his basement. So he wants us to investigate, figure out what's going on down there. So this is one of those things you have to say yes to. You can tell him no, but there's no real point to it. I should mention that if Sheila is not offering to let you investigate his basement, that means that you have some other things to do first. I think the requirement is you need to have returned the first 5 books of Ys to the priest statues, and also to have saved Dr. Flare. And then he'll let you down there. Okay, let's investigate. Well, seems normal. If you investigate this wall here, it says something evil is down here, or seems to be. Well, no sign of demons, but if they are really down here, then maybe ringing this evil bell will bring them out into the open. So equip it and use it. Well, that's not good. Should probably equip the tower here. So looks like there really are demons down here after all. And something to note about this screen is that you can actually... Oh boy. You can actually clear this screen of demons. Most screens you can't do that. They just keep respawning infinitely. However, they did make this into a side quest for this particular version of the game at least. And I won't be showing it off during the main playthrough. I'll do so in the upcoming bonus video. But clearing Sheila's basement of enemies, this screen and the next one, is pretty good experience-wise, because it gives you about 800 experience altogether, which is fantastic for this point in the game. It gives you roughly 400 experience from the enemies, and as a quest reward, I guess you could call it, a fixed 400 experience. So, very, very handy. That said, it does take a minute or two to do, and because there are, I think it's around 60 enemies you have to kill, and they are in a confined space, it's a bit dangerous for nightmare difficulty, so I will save that for another time. Even though the EXP is pretty good, we will still get to the level that we need to for the upcoming boss, and that is because of the way the scaled experience system works, which is different from what it was in Ys 1. So in Ys 1, you'd kill an enemy, you would get the same amount of experience whether you're level 1 or you're level 10. In Ys 2, though, the more you level up, the less experience the enemies give you. So because of that, you make up any EXP deficiencies rather quickly. Anyways, from Sheila's basement, we come into this Sanctuary of Toll. So, you remember where we rescued Dr. Flare? How there was a pile of rubble blocking the other part of the room he was in? Yeah, this Sanctuary of Toll segment is where it would have led us to. But, just like before, that particular segment of rubble you cannot clear. So you have to get down here through Sheila's basement. Okay, let's head over here and through this door here. Oh, looks like we finally found the tomb of Priest Fact. Speaking of Priest Fact, something to mention is that if you remember at the end of Ys I, the final boss, Dark Fact, he was listed as a ruined Ys priest. Not the same person here. So, Priest Fact here, this one is actually good, and Dark Fact, well, obviously isn't. If you've played Ys Origin, there is also mention of a Priest Fact, but again, pretty obviously not the same purpose. Not the same person. Anyways. So, he tells us that the demons grow stronger by the day, and that pretty soon the magic of the priests will be no more. So, things are looking pretty dire. We are told that the source of all of this evil is in Solomon Shrine, so we need to head there. To assist with that, he's going to give us a magical scroll. And what this will do is give us guidance as to how to proceed by approaching the goddesses' statues. One of which is in the ruins of Mundoria. So, for the most part, we don't need to visit the goddesses' statues. The scroll is basically an in-game hint system, but for story purposes, I'll do so anyways. And with that, the sealed door to Solomon Shrine is opened. So, something to mention is that if he does not open the sealed door to Solomon Shrine, then that means you have missed something. So, for him to open the sealed door, you first need to have returned all 6 books to their respective priest statues. You need to have cured Lilia and received the return magic. And you also need to have found the light magic. So if you've done all those things, then you can proceed to the next area. Okay, let's head back through Sheila's basement. Whew, you can see how dangerous that would be. Let's give Sheila the bad news. Yep, you need an exterminator. Well, I would, but I have somewhere else I need to be. Sorry. So, yeah, kind of a jerk move not to clear the demons, but yeah, I'll show that off in the bonus episode. You can actually leave them there until the end of the game, and much to his annoyance. Okay, let's head back to the ruins of Mundoria. That's where the sealed door was, in that first section of the Sanctuary of Toll. First though, you see this cracked wall here? If you equip the Matak and use it there, lets you inside to this chest here, containing the Bestiary Potion. So, Bestiary Potion works just like it did in Ys 1. Equip it and use it. And now we can see the stats of the various enemies that we're killing. So, for the most part, I won't go out of my way to reveal all of the enemy stats. But I do recommend that for a normal playthrough, learning all the enemy stats, because doing so should get you to the level that you need to be for whatever area you happen to be in. It will ensure that you are not underleveled. I am also going to pick up another Rotafruit, because what these do is they completely restore all of your MP. So by the end of the next area we will be pretty low on MP, so being able to replenish all of it will be pretty handy. That Rotafruit actually does not have a recharge time. You just refresh the screen and it automatically grows back, so no need to wait 5 minutes, thankfully. Over here, we don't need to, but I am going to go see what the goddess's statue has to say. So apparently we are the last hope for Ys's salvation. They need the strength of a warrior. And again, we are told to head to Stalman Shrine. Put a stop to all this. So, yeah, this particular statue doesn't have a whole lot of interest to say. It just basically tells you, hey, use the goddesses, use the scroll at the goddesses statues. Okay. With that, we will head to the Sanctuary of Toll. Through here. And this was the door that was sealed previously. So let's head inside. And now we have a brief intermission. That cloaked figure, along with the glowing orb thing on the wall behind him, you may recognize them from the game's intro scenes. So, seems like they are keeping tabs on us. Can't be anything good. Sacrifices, huh? That can't be good. Alright. And with that, let's explore the Ice Ridge. Remember how Priest Mesa said that in order to reach Stalman Shrine, we needed to climb a mountain of ice and cross a moat of lava? Yep, we have a bit of work ahead of us. Here in the Ice Ridge, because this is a place of ice, your fire magic will be pretty effective here, so definitely put it to good use. Right over there, we'll get to there in just a couple minutes, but for now we have some other things we need to collect off to the left. So head up here. And down here. So right below me you have these icy slopes. While we can slide down them, we can't climb up them. So this one just takes us back to the beginning of the area, so you don't want to slide down that one. Not just yet, at least. Let's head down here. Down here. And on this pedestal, we find this blizzard bulb. So what the blizzard bulb does is it freezes the air, makes ice appear out of nowhere, provided that there is moisture in the air. So that will be needed for a puzzle pretty soon. Off to the left here, there are some icy slopes we cannot climb just yet, but we will need to visit here later on, so keep that in mind. Back this way. Directly below me there's just a dead end. There's a lot of places, not only in this area but in really the whole game, that just lead to dead ends. Ys I in general is, Ys II in general is more maze-like, which is a little bit unfortunate. Up there is another such area, so let's head back the way we came. We alternatively could take this way, down the slope there, but I think going back up this way is a little bit faster. Okay, now let's head off to the right. Up here. That cave down here, we can get to it through this cave if you go off to the right there. However, it does not lead anywhere useful. So instead, from this cave here, you want to head down and to the left. And you see this spot here, kind of looks like a draft, I guess. If you equip the blizzard bulb and stand in the draft and use it, you make a bridge of ice to cross the chasm. So let's see where this cave leads. Right where I killed the enemy, you can see that there are some footprints here in the snow. And while we ourselves make footprints, as well as the enemies, these particular footprints do not disappear. So what that is an indication of is a secret passage. So let's go check it out. Completely optional, but this is a very helpful item right here. The Spirit Cape. So what the Spirit Cape does is the same thing as the heal ring in Ys I. Provided that if you're in an area where you cannot restore your HP and you equip this and you stand still, then you can still get your HP back. The Ice Ridge is an area where you cannot stand still to restore your HP, even though it is outside. I guess it's too cold. I don't know. Anyways, down here, go past here because that's just a dead end there. Up here. and into this cave here. Anywhere else is just going to lead you to dead ends. Through here. And these enemies, they are a little bit tougher. They're shelled enemies. They're not overly tough, but I think they do take a bit more punishment than most of the enemies in this area, so be careful around them. Up here, we will be visiting there shortly, but for now, we have no means to climb the icy slopes. So let's head down the stairs. And here, we can either head off to the left, or we can head down. Either direction gets you to the same location we need to be at. However, going to the left does take you to a treasure chest, so let's do that. This chest is optional, but it is also very handy. Right down the slope here. You want to be careful not to go down the second slope just yet. And it contains the Hawk Idol. So what the Hawk Idol does is it homes your fireballs to the nearest enemy, which is pretty good, especially if you don't have a good aim. But what it can also do is target an enemy that's out of your range that you might otherwise not be able to hit. So, very handy tool to have. Right there, where I just killed that enemy, this path just loops around back to the beginning of the area. So you want to step into this cave here. Here, we have a whole bunch of icicle rocks, but fortunately, we have fire magic to take care of that little problem. The easiest way to get through this cave is to take the path I just took along the top, because if you try to go through the middle, then you have to destroy a few more icicle blocks, which waste your MP. So even though it's a little bit weird, that is the path I recommend taking through the screen. Anyways, over here we have this chest, which contains our fourth magic, the altar magic. So, do you remember how Priest Gemma said that if we could talk to the demons, they might have something interesting to say? This will let us do just that. It will transform us into a Rue, which is not actually a demon, but most NPCs, demons included, seem to mistake us as one of their own. So, at this point in the game, we don't really need it for anything, but you do need it eventually. So, even though I don't need to, I'm going to talk to a few enemies just for story bits. This enemy says that he saw a human being taken away by a flying demon. From what he could tell, she was really pretty. Wonder if that's anyone we know. And yeah, I'm kind of being a jerk here. Killing him even though he just gave us information. Hey, I need the experience. This enemy says that he saw them going towards that door, which is right up the slope here. Right up there. However, we can't get to it yet. This enemy says that he can't get through the door for some reason. Being demons, they have stronger legs than Adel, so they can get up the slopes, but we cannot. Over here, there is a marl flower growing, and what these do is they restore 15 MP apiece, So even if you don't have a rotor fruit, you do have a means of getting at least a little bit of MP back. There is only one in the Ice Ridge, and they do have a 5-minute recharge time before they grow back. So it's not much, but it does help. Up in this cave is where I want to go, but first I'm going to wander over here, kill a couple enemies. There's really nothing over here, but yeah, I need the experience. Okay, let's see what's in this cave here. There's an herb growing along the wall if you want it. Just like the marl flowers, this one does also have a 5-minute recharge time. Through here. Let's see what the chest contains. The stone shoes. So, with these, we can finally have enough traction to climb the icy slopes. So let's go check out that door we passed earlier. We don't need to check it out at this point, but I'm going to anyways. It's a little bit hard to locate, but again, footprints here shows where you came from. So, in here. You want to be very careful around these enemies, because they are the strongest enemies in the area, and they move quite fast, as you may have seen, so you do need to be on your guard around them. Okay, let's climb up here and see what can possibly be so hard about getting through a stupid door. How hard can it really be? Well, it looks like the door is made of liquid or something. Well, that's inconvenient. Okay, so at this point we need to head back to the beginning of the Ice Ridge, and while you can walk back there, I am going to use return magic to warp to Lance Village. We honestly don't even need to go back to Lance Village at all for the remainder of the game, but I'm doing this, number 1, out of convenience, and 2, for some story bits, and also to pick up a piece of armor. The billboard now says that there have been a couple instances of missing persons recently, so that's unsettling. If you talk to this man here, he tells us that Lilia went out to the ruins, and that's the last anyone's seen of her. So, looks like she might be one of the missing people. And Astel and Legs, that's the guard in the ruins and the person next to the goddess's statue, neither of them saw her, so that can't be good. There was one other person. She tells us that Lilia, I'm sorry, she also confirms that Lilia vanished, but not only Lilia, but another person, Boats, is also missing from the village. Boats, I will show off where he is and where he would have been in just a minute. For now, though, I am going to head to the armor shop. Not really necessary, but you can see these red and green armors. These are the new armors that were made with the iron ore. Okay, so we have the breastplate, which I think costs 2,000 gold, and the plate mail, which costs 8,000 gold. So he could save up for the plate mail if he wanted to, but this is going to be the strongest piece of armor you can get through not only the Ice Ridge, but also through the next area. So the breastplate is suitable for the time being, so that's what I'll pick up. Okay, let's equip it. This NPC, the one that told us about the ancient tablet, she says that Lilia apparently followed us out of the village. No, we haven't seen her. And supposedly, the people that are being taken away by the demons are being taken away somewhere unknown. So, that's definitely disconcerting. So, the people that were taken are Lilia and Boats. Boats is in this house here. It's a couple houses to the left of Benoa's. And Boats, he would have been a green-haired person standing around in here, but not to worry, that you can still find him at a later point in the game. So if you're worried about missing any NPCs, or enemies for that matter, it's not like Ys I. There is a point of no return, but it's at the very, very end of the game, so you don't need to worry about missing entries. But for now, we are unable to speak with them. Something else to mention is that these kids here, they do say the same thing, however, you need to speak with both of them if you want a complete character entry list. So, yep, just something minor to point out. Anyways, let's head back to the Ice Ridge. If you want to, he can talk to Astel, and he confirms that he has not seen Lilia. Okay, back to the Ice Ridge. Okay, now that we have the stone shoes, make sure you equip them by the way, we are now able to climb these icy slopes. This one here, it's not really that useful, it just takes you right to where I just killed that enemy pretty much. So, you want to head off to the left and climb this one. You don't really need to climb this slope, you can take the long way to get here, but I think it's definitely faster to take this way instead. And over here, we're this slope that we passed earlier. Lots of wind demons here, so you want to be careful. And this treasure chest here. The Anti-Illusion Mirror. So what this does is it dispels illusions. I wonder if that door we saw earlier was an illusion then. With that in hand, let's go back to the door. You can see just how effective the Hawk Idol is. Just makes things a lot simpler. Back over here. I'm getting low on MP, so I will use another Rotafruit to Marl Flower. I'll save the Rotafruit for just a bit later. Something to mention is that because my MP is so low, you may be noticing that it's taken longer for my fireballs to get charged up, and that is because if you watch the MP bar when you release a fireball, then you see how the MP bar kind of depletes. The higher your MP is, the less time it will take for your fireballs to get charged up. And by the way, that enemy I just killed, he does say something rather interesting. Don't need to talk to him by any means, but he says there were two girls standing in front of the goddess's statue. That is right up the slope there. And naturally, he was attracted to them and decided to try and chat them up. Unfortunately, they weren't having any of that. Well, yeah, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. Okay, so we don't need to approach this goddess's statue either, but for story reasons, we will. And it tells us that we need to find the true door. So that door we found earlier is indeed a fake. So we need to dispel the illusion, and then the real door will be made known to us. So that is what the mirror is for that we picked up earlier. I don't really need to, but I guess I'll show off this alternate path here. Not terribly interesting, but a variety. Still takes us to the cave though, so that's the important thing. Okay, I'll pick up another Marl Flower in case I need it later, but for now I am going to use a Rotafruit. Okay, let's see where the real door is. So equip the anti-illusion mirror, stand in front of the fake door, and use it. Okay, so the door is over here. Head inside, and this is our next boss. So the boss here activates as soon as we touch the door, or get close to it at least. Before I do that, I am going to equip herbs. Something I think I forgot to mention last episode is that, unlike Ys I, healing items do work during boss battles for Ys II, provided that you have something equipped beforehand. Because unless you're playing on easy difficulty, you are not able to change your items or equipment around during the middle of a boss battle. Easy difficulty will let you do that, but anything higher than that, whatever you enter a boss fight with, you're stuck with. Okay, let's save the game. For this boss, level 21 with the Talwar is excellent. You can get to level 22 or even 23 fairly easily. But even with the longsword, level 20, I think, is good for this boss. But obviously, the higher the better. So let's approach. You want to be really careful because he jumps down right away and shoots these icicle waves attacks. His jumping attack, if he lands on top of you, it is going to hurt a lot, probably even outright kill you, because it can easily do consecutive hits. As for his icicle wave attacks, he can disperse those in pretty much any direction he wants to. On lower difficulties, he only does them in like a star pattern, but on higher difficulties, he not only throws more waves in more directions, he can also kind of clump them together, and they are really difficult to dodge when he does that. So you want to put as much distance as you can between you and him in case he decides to do that. The other thing to mention is having the Hawk Idol equipped for this fight. Not necessary, but it does, in my opinion, help a lot. So, yeah. I do recommend, as far as damaging him goes, that you do so as soon as he lands, because as you can see, he is sending out wave after wave of icicle attacks, and those can block your fireballs. They will not melt them. But as you can see, he does leave these icicle rocks behind it to a certain HP threshold. So these, you can get hung up on them if you're not careful, because they do kind of blend into the background. But I think your fireballs in this case can also redirect towards these, so it may be a good idea to get rid of them because they can be a bit of a nuisance. So watch out for that too. He does jump around more often the lower his HP gets, so yeah, he can be obnoxious. And he is down. So with that, I don't remember how much experience he gives you. 600 it looked like. But anyways, let's head through the door. And it looks like it is starting to defrost a bit. So if you head up here, there is another herb you can grab. We can only hold 3 of these at a time though. That one again does have a 5-minute recharge time on it. Let's head up here and through this cave here. Okay, we are now in the moat of Burnblessed. Alright, that is where I'm going to stop the episode this time. And we will explore Burnblessed next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.